Good? Everyone good? All right. So we're going to talk about actually what we actually do when it comes to balance billing. I know we talked about last time PPOs and why people get balance billed and what it is that we're trying to stop, overcharging, etc. We went over all that. So now we're going to talk about specifically what is it that we currently do today and what type of offerings do we have to our clients so that you guys can then obviously help us work on these kind of items. So the first thing we want to look at is the plan document. Okay, we touched on this last time. In regards to the plan doc, the key thing that we're looking at is what does the plan document state in regards to how a bill is to be paid? Very simple. So, if I have a situation, and I'm not going to get into it again like we did last time, if I have a situation where the plan document says the usual and customary rate is whatever the PPO rate is, right? And this claim is a PPO claim. Does the plan have the opportunity or the ability to look at a different way of paying that claim other than through the PPO? Anyone want to answer that? What were you going to say, Lauren? No, you're right. Because if the plan document says specifically, usual and customary is whatever the PPO contract rate is, then the plan should be paying what the PPO contract rate is. So the first thing that we always do when we look at balance billing type programs or balance billing situations is to see specifically what the plan document says. So, if the plan doc says claims are to be paid at Medicare plus 130%, how should the audit firm pay that claim? You can take the answer. Medicare plus 30%, exactly right. What if the plan document says we're going to pay whatever the usual, customary, and reasonable fee is in that particular zip code? Would the audit firm, if they decide to pay that claim based on Medicare, be okay to do that?
If that's usual and customary?
If it was usual and customary, right. But based on what we talked about before, is Medicare only rate usual and customary? No. That's the key. So the right answer, good call. So the first thing you want to look at is what the plan language allows. So if somebody called us and said to us, we want to set up a plan that is a cost plus based plan, which will incorporate Medicare pricing, it's going to incorporate what the average wholesale cost of items are, it's going to look at Red Book, it's going to look at what the implant device charges are. What is it that we're going to look for? The fact of the matter is we're the ones who will be able to help them, and we do provide them through our PGC team as well as R&I. We give them the language that they can put inside their plan document that allows them to pay claims based on a cost plus mentality. First thing you want to do. So that's why the plan document people are here. A plan cannot put in place cost plus reimbursement or payment methodologies to a client unless that language is specifically stated the same in the plan doc. And what they're supposed to do is whatever audit firm they're using, they should be paying that claim based on the same parameters as set forth in the plan document. Everyone get that? Is that hard to understand? It's clear, right? Good. So what else we do? So if the TPA or plan or vendor says to us, we want you to help us put together a cost plus type program, what is that we want to do? One of the things is obviously give them the right plan language. Another thing we want to do is tell them what the member's ID card should look like. Okay? For a free lunch tomorrow, can someone tell me, other than Chris, or Shauna, or Ron, or Jen, why is it important what the member ID card looks like when it comes to a cost plus program? Lunch on me. Yes. Why? She said it shouldn't have any network information. Right, why?
Because
Don't think they have a PPO network, correct. You're not there yet. You got a half answer. What do we want that ID card to state? Refer to your plan. Bingo. Lunch on you. Lunch on me. Lunch on you. Lunch on me. Tomorrow. So the point of the matter is, she's right. The ID card, we can't allow that ID card to reference a PPO. Here's why. I walk in to the hospital, and you have an ID card? Yeah, here it is. And it says multi-plan PPO. You see a multi-plan logo. They're immediately going to think that I'm applying a multi-plan discount on those claims. And they know what that multi-plan discount might be, 20% off bill charges. So that's my problem right off the bat. Second, by telling them, this plan has a cost-plus based reimbursement. Please see the plan document for payment information, etc. Upon accepting, this patient, you agree to the terms of the plan document, blah, 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 blah. That language needs to be on that ID card. It's going to give us a better argument in regards to why our payment methodology is correct. But the number one thing, clearly, is to make sure there's no PPO network logo on that ID card in a cost-plus scenario. Yes, Ron?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the ID card, in a lot of ways, constitutes an offer. I mean, if you know anything about contracts, one person makes an offer, another person accepts the offer, and then they exchange services and money, right? And if I walk in and I show an ID card and it's got the PPO logo on it, the hospital, the provider, the person who's treating me, they see that ID, that logo, and they're thinking, if I treat him, I'll be paid in accordance with the PPO network. It's almost a representation. The problem we encounter a lot is if somebody, a plan, pays other than the PPO rate, but there was a PPO logo on the card, the provider always tells us, every single time, I relied on that logo. I wouldn't have treated them if I'd known you weren't going to access the network. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the argument they make. It constitutes an offer.
So once you have the plan language set down and you have the ID card set down, the next thing you want to look at is how are the claims repriced. Repriced really means how they price. Okay, how is it that the plan is going to pay the claim? And that's all based on benchmarks. These benchmarks are set forth in the plan document. So if the plan document says, let's just make this a very basic Medicare Plus plan, okay, which we don't advocate for this, but let's just make it simple. It says we will reimburse Medicare Plus 140%. So what is the benchmark on the repricing? Medicare Plus 140%. Also, the plan document might have different levels. It might say the lesser of Medicare Plus 140 or average wholesale price plus 20%. It might have a bunch of different variables. That's called the benchmarking. What is it how it's going to price those particular claims? This is not very important you understand, because our sales team needs to make sure our sales team understands this as well. We do not reprice claims here. That is why the only reason that we are not competitors with AMPS, AMS, Ingenix, PHX, Ethicare, all these companies, TC3, we don't do this. That's it. Otherwise, we can compete with all these companies. What we decided instead strategically is instead of competing with them and doing repricing and auditing of claims, we offer all these additional services to those companies. A lot of these companies do member education, patient advocacy, but our job is we consult them on how to do a better job at all those things and help them in the end with their legal issues. But obviously, you never know. It might be sometime down the road, we decide to do auditing and repricing of claims as well. All right, but that's the one piece that we don't do in this whole puzzle, which makes us not be an audit firm. Everyone understand that? Good. Okay, so the plan has new plan language. Great language in the plan doc. They get the claims repriced. They're repriced based on benchmarks that are in the plan. So what happens? They process those claims. When they process the claims, they put forth EOBs that go out to the providers and the patients, as well as letters, drafted letters that are sent out explaining how the claim was paid. We help them with those things. We help them with how their EOB looks. And again, another lunch, not Christina. Someone else tell me what you want that EOB to say and not say. Why is an EOB important when it comes to a cost-plus basis? Anyone want to answer that? We talked about the ID cards. Anybody want to tell me why the EOB is important? Anyone here not know what an EOB is? It's fine if you don't know. Do you guys not know what an EOB is? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, good. Why is it important? What's important about the EOB that we want to make sure it says or not says? What is the explanation of benefits going to do? Nope. Who's going to go to? When that plan sends the EOB, who's it going to? All right? Who else is going to get a copy of that EOB? Who else? Ron? The provider, guys. It explains how they're paying the benefit. Okay? So if I'm a hospital or I'm a patient and I get a copy of the EOB, what is it important that we make sure that EOB doesn't say? Other than Christina, how many more hints can I give you? Literally, it shouldn't be Taco Bell. I should be giving you like, a candy bar from the machine to get this one right. What? There's no network. It doesn't have network written on the EOB either. A lot of times the EOB will say PPO rate, or under PPO they'll put the price. So people think it's still being applied to a PPO discount. It's not. So you specifically want to make sure there's no PPO discount, no PPO mentioning within the EOB. And you also want to say on the EOB how that particular claim is being paid. That acceptance of this check is what? If you accept this check, then what? You accept the payment. Very good. You cash this check. You agree to the terms of this check. You agree to the terms of the plan. Very, very important wording that we want to have specifically stated on the EOB or on the letter that's sent along with the payment, or with the check, or with the proceeds to that particular provider. So we get the letters out of the way, and what the letters are is the first initial letters and EOBs that go out to the providers and the patient, stating, here's what the plan says, here's how we came up with this number, here's what we're sending you as payment. If you accept this payment, you've accepted this payment in full. If you don't accept the payment, then what should you do? If you won't accept our payment, or if you won't accept this as payment in full. So let's say I just gave you, you said, all right, Adam, you want to sell me your glasses, okay? And I said, all right, you know what? I'll give you $10 for those glasses. Here's a check. And I wrote down on the check, if you cash this check, it's not a down payment. You cash this check, you agree that $10 is what you're going to give me those glasses for. If you don't accept that $10, what should you do? Thank you. See how simple it is when I make it about her glasses? When I make it about a hospital bill, somehow it's confusing. If she doesn't accept the $10, she sends it back to me. That's the assignment of benefits argument, which I am not going to allow Ron to talk about, because he will, everything I'm trying to do, which is make things simple for you, he will make it much too complicated. So we're not going to have an assignment of benefits discussion. That is a separate FEAU on assignment of benefits. Sorry, Ron. We cannot do it right now. This is that'll be 4 hours. So the point being, they accept that check, it's payment in full. They don't want to accept that check, send me the money back. Okay? The assignment of benefits argument and discussions is a legal, we're still in grade school here. We're not in grad school. So we'll get there. Okay? So that's the letter that goes along with it. Now, patient advocacy, conflict of interest. I want to get into this a little bit. Patient advocacy. What does that mean? Let's stick with you, Ty. What's patient advocacy mean? If I just said to you, I'm a patient advocate, what would you think that means? Who? Patient advocacy, I'm representing the patient. Good. So what a lot of these plans and TPAs do, and that's when they get us involved, is they set up these patient advocacy programs. What does that mean? Someone explain to me what they think it means. You want to explain? You're a smart girl. You want to tell me what you think patient advocacy program means? The TPA puts together a patient advocacy program. What are they telling? What are they saying?
That they have like a group of people who are advocates that will work with the patients throughout if they get balanced bills and advises them on what to do. And
that's why you're smart. I said you were smart. You're smart. She's exactly right. What it is, it's advocating on behalf of the patient in case they get balanced billed. Simple, clean, to the point. Now, so let's just use the example. This is the TPA. Here's the group. Here's the little employee. They send the check to the TPA. The TPA, let's say, cashes the check. But they still balance bill the employee. What? It's provider, yeah. Sorry. provider, cash the check, balance bills the employee. Under a patient advocacy program, what the TPA is agreeing to do is have someone represent the patient to make this balance bill go away. But the problem is inherent conflict of interest, which is why Ron and I never like to say that we're representing the patient. We actually don't like the term patient advocate. We're more of a plan advocate, not patient advocate. Here's why. Let's say this bill is $100,000. The plan thought $10,000 is a fair payment. They balance bill the patient for 90 grand. At some point, if we're FIA, if we're brought in to try to make this balance bill go away, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is either A, get this provider to stop balance billing the patient and agree to accept the $10,000, or B, we want the plan to negotiate the claim. So we'll say to the plan, listen, under a PPO, this $100,000 bill would have been paid at $70,000. If I can give this provider an extra 20 grand, this is what you do all day, Kelsey. This is your job all day long. If I give this provider $20,000 more above the $10,000, will they agree to accept this payment in full, sign a release, and the patient is a balance billed? That is what we attempt to do. Either A, when that patient gets balance billed, we're either trying to stop them from balance billing or negotiate an additional payment to make the claim go away. But what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if they won't accept an additional $20,000? What if they say they want the whole $100,000? Then at some point down the road, that patient is going to get sued. That patient could have a situation where their credit score is being hurt. They have bad credit put on their bill from a hospital. That patient at some point may not be on the same team as the plan or the TPA, and that patient can say, screw you plan, screw you TPA, pay more money. I've been paying my premiums, I've been an employee for 20 years, I think you should pay $100,000 on this claim. And that patient, instead of being an advocate or working with them, if in actuality, that patient sues their own plan. That's the inherent conflict of interest. Is that really we're representing the plan because think about it. Who's paying? If I have to pay, if I agree to pay $20,000 more on that situation I give, who's giving me the $20,000? Who? No, if I agree, if we make a deal with the hospital, all right, you'll take $30,000 instead of $10,000. I'll give you $20,000 more. Kelsey, whose $20,000 am I sending? The plan's $20,000. So how am I representing the patient in any of these situations? If I was representing the patient, then the patient should be the one sending the money. That's why when they say patient advocacy, it's a bunch of BS.
It's the third-party beneficiary.
They say this because the way in the real world, I'm an employer, right? You're the employees. If someone comes to me and says, listen, we're going to protect your patients. We're going to protect your employees. If your employees, if Ty gets balance billed, we're going to protect her. Ashley gets balance billed, we're going to protect her. Yeah, you protect her to a certain point. You're willing to try to make a deal. But at the end of the day, it's my money that's going to be paying these bills, not your money and not your money. You're going to benefit from it, like Ron says, a third-party beneficiary. But at the end of the day, it's the plan's money. So I'm not listening to the patient. Who am I listening to? The plan. I'm the attorney for the plan. I'm going to say to the plan, hey, you want me to pay $20,000 more? Yeah. How about 30? No. That patient can tell me, pay $30,000 more, but they're not the one who has the final decision. The plan does. It's like when you watch those mafia movies, right? Same thing. When you watch, like, whatever it is, Goodfellas, whatever, and they bring in the lawyer who represents the mob, okay? Is he really representing that guy who, they busted, the police caught, they caught that? Who's that lawyer being paid by? Not him. He's getting paid by the mob bosses. They bring him in, and he represents this guy, but really, who's paying him? Who's calling the shots? Not him. It's the bosses of the mob. No different in these situations. In these situations, we're brought in, we're paid by who? The plan. We're paid by the TPA. We're paid by the audit firm. Who pays us on the AMPS cases? Who pays the fee? Ty, who do you send the bill? You don't send the bills there. We send the bills to AMPS. AMPS pays the fee. When we represent Shasta, who pays? Shasta, not the patient. But TPA or the plan is the one who pays these particular bills. So our job is to try to make this balance bill go away, either by A, telling the provider, you accepted this check, it said on the check you accepted this payment in full, you cashed it, we're not paying you anymore, A, or B, okay, let's see if we can work on some type of negotiation. Because all these claims aren't so simple. In many of these claims that we get involved in, there is a PPO network. And the PPO network might say, you may access our network, but it doesn't require me to. Or I might have a situation where it is definitely a cost-plus plan, but the person had an ID card with multi-plan on it, and they applied the multi-plan rate. So there are many situations where it's not as clean that we have to try to work out some type of arrangement, which will still save the plan money at the end of the day. Everyone get that? Am I missing something on that? So that's what patient advocacy is, or really, you want to call it plan advocacy. Our job is to save money for the plan. We're trying to get that plan to save money, which at the end will save every employee money also, clearly. Now, member education. What is this? What this is as simple as this. When you guys were all here on Friday, we had that thing on, that was Friday, right? What day was the staff meeting? Thursday, okay. Sorry, I forget. We told you guys that we're putting this plan together with Doctors Express. We told you guys about this Oklahoma Surgery Center that we're looking to create a domestic medical tourism plan with. That's part of member education. You're the members. You're the employees. We're telling you about these plans that we have, these programs that we have. And it's our job to make sure we explain that program to you. Like, for example, if you guys find fraud on a claim, and then if we recover that fraud, you guys get a cut of that money, which is written down in your plan doc. These are all things we have to explain to you guys so you understand how the plan works. Same thing with these cost-plus programs. What member education is basically telling you, Kelsey, here's the program. We're going to pay based on Medicare or cost plus 30%, etc. And what it comes down to, it's going to say very simply this. If you are balance billed by a hospital or a doctor or a provider or a collections agency, call this 800 number. It explains what this plan is like. It explains that your plan is paying these facilities what they think is a fair amount of money. And if these facilities don't agree and they come after you, all you have to do is call this phone number or email this person and contact this individual, and this individual will then be your advocate. So what it's asking basically is explaining how this plan works, which I've already explained to you, and explains what to do if you get balance billed or get harassing calls, etc. Anyone have a question on that? We also help our clients, so when our clients call us to set up these programs, all of these things that I'm talking about, other than repricing, is stuff that Ron, myself, and our legal team are putting together. So we can put together the language of what they should be telling their members. For example, one of our clients, Caprock, requires every member to watch a 5-minute video. You would not be able to be part of the plan unless you watch a 5-minute video explaining how this works and what to do in case someone does balance bill you or something. Let's give an example. 99% of claims will never be balance billed. 1% will. And typically those are the largest claims out there. The hospital bills are the ones that get balance billed. They're very large hospital bills, $100,000 or more, you'll have balance billing. But Ron has this information here, which was sent to you guys. With this one plan, Home City Ice, they had 60 total balance bills, 11 open cases totaling $12,000. But the key thing is, less than 1% of all their claims processed had balance billing. So we're not talking about a huge amount of cases, but still, for this particular plan, 1% is still a lot. If I have 100 claims, that's one claim. That's a lot of work that potentially could be done on that one particular claim. So, that's member education. Next, stop loss. Stop loss is key to the entire cost plus program. It's very key. Does anybody want to tell me, other than the normal people that I don't let answer questions on these things, anybody want to tell me for lunch tomorrow, in detail, this isn't like a giveaway lunch, okay? I want to know an answer. Why stop loss is key when it comes to a cost plus program? Anybody? Free lunch. Nobody? You can't answer it? Amanda? So if you can't answer, I'm going right to Ashley.
Because a lot of the claims might be above what the plan could pay, so they need the stop loss to kick in and pay the extra money.
Okay? So let's see here. So that's the definition of stop loss, right? So stop loss is at a certain dollar amount, so at a certain specific number, stop loss kicks in, okay? So let's say it's $100,000. So if the plan pays $101,000, Leanne, what will the stop loss carrier reimburse? $1,000. So what it says is the plan agrees to pay everything up to $100,000 per employee per year. Above that, if the plan pays something, they will be reimbursed by the stop loss carrier for whatever they pay above the $100,000. Now, in a cost plus plan, I'm going to only go to PGC people on this one. Okay, you guys should know this stuff inside and out. So I'm going to go Leanne first. Leanne, in a cost plus program, what should the plan document say on how a claim is paid? Let's say I called it a cost plus 30%. What would the plan document say of how claims are paid? Lauren, yeah, sorry, Lauren. If it's a cost plus plan, what will the plan document say language-wise, roughly, how a claim is supposed to be paid? Cost plus plan. Give me an example. Cost plus what? What else could it say? Christina? What else could it be? Lesser of the following, blah, blah, blah. Leanne? Could say usually customary, just could be lesser of, that's fine. You would see reasonable. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a key word. Begins with a D. Plan document, we see them all the time. The plan pays claims at its own discretion. There's discretionary authority in how the claims are paid. Right? Okay. So let's say that's what the plan doc says. What does the stop loss contract say? What do we hear now? Stop loss carriers trying to blank the plan. Christina, what are they trying to do? No, I'm holding something. I'm holding something right now. What am I doing?
Mirror.
You not hear this? We'll mirror the plan. We're going to mirror the terms of the plan. Whatever the plan pays, we'll reimburse. The plan pays this, we'll reimburse. Mirroring the plan. So if the stop loss contract mirrors the plan, then what do you expect? If it's okay to pay under the terms of the plan, it's okay for the stop loss carrier to reimburse. We got that? Mirror the plan. Good. So in cost plus scenarios, there are two main issues. One is plan language and the stop loss contract. That's okay. Contract and K is how you do it in law school, okay? This is the contract. You want to look at the relation between the plan doc and the stop loss contract. So you want to have, in every one of these cost plus situations, in every single plan across the country, you want to make sure when you do a stop loss contract assessment, You want to make sure the language in the stop-loss contract, there's nothing in it that would stop them from reimbursing the plan if the plan pays the claim according to the plan. 1. 2, what is the problem with stop-loss contracts when it comes to cost-plus plans? Lunch again. This is 2 lunches. You get this right. Liam, you want to try it? Tell me what the biggest problems are with stop-loss contracts when it comes to cost-plus plans. This is hard. I'm not expecting you to know. Anybody get it? Want to guess? Ashley? You don't want to guess? Okay. A stop-loss contract always has set dates. It's going to say all claims paid by December 31st. There's a contract terms. It's called a 12/15, a 12/24, a 12/12 contract. What that means is they're saying, okay, let me give you an example. I'm a stop-loss carrier. Ron is the Fee Group plan doc. Ron's Fee Group. Okay, we will do a 12/24 contract with you. What that means is all claims that happen in the year 2013, we will reimburse you as long as it's paid within 24 months. So the 12 months is January to December 2013 is when the claims happen, date of service. The date of service has to be between January 1 and December 31st, 2013, but it has to be paid by the plan from January 1, 2013 to December 31st, 2014. It's called a 12/24. So as long as and date of service happens here, well, you can pay it within 2 years. That's the most expensive stop-loss contract you can have because it's opening the stop-loss carrier to a lot more liability of reimbursing. A 12/12 is exactly what it means. The date of service is 2013, and you got to pay it in 2013. Can someone tell me, and this is not even a lunch, I will buy you a candy bar, why a 12/12, excuse my language, sucks? Yeah.
Well, if you incur claims like at the end of December, they're probably not going to get paid that same year.
Bingo! There's your Snickers bar. It's on me. You got a lunch already too? No. You got a lunch so far, right? Okay. So if you get hurt, you slip and fall on New Year's Eve, you're wasted at a bar somewhere, you slip and fall, and I have to pay that claim that night. Trust me, you're not going to be able to find me that night to pay that claim in time. So the point of the matter is, how can a 12/12 work? It's hard. 12/15 is what? 12/15, Cindy, what's 12/15? A year and 3 months. So, that's the most typical one you see. December 31st, date of service. By the March 31st, you got to pay it the next year. Very simple. Now, based on what I just said, Ashley, since you don't want to answer any questions, tell me what the problem, let's say I put a 12/15 in place. I have a cost-plus plan. What is the problem? Why am I nervous as the plan about only having a 12/15 in my cost-plus plan? What makes me nervous? I'll go 1, 2, 3, go see you. What makes me nervous? Time's up. What makes me nervous? No. What makes me nervous? Yeah, you do. You're a smart girl. I know you do. Leanne? And? And? When might the negotiation happen?
Outside of your contract.
Yes! Thank you. Great job. Really nice work. What that's saying is this. What did we just say, guys? I just explained to you what? I'm the plan. I'm cost plus. I sent the hospital the money on February 15th, 2014. So I'm still within my 15 months. They wait 6 months and balance bill the patient. They now balance bill the patient next August. So if I negotiate any additional payments, I'm already going to be outside of that 1215, right? So if they say to me, I paid them $10,000 next February for something that happened on New Year's Eve, and I send them the check, they don't respond, they're quiet, they cash the check, they do everything. All of a sudden, 6 months later, next summer, they balance bill the patient. I'm being hired by the plan to negotiate an additional payment to make the claim go away and make the balance billing go away. The problem is, if I pay the money, any extra money to that hospital, I won't be able to get reimbursed by the stop loss carrier because I paid more money outside of those 15 months. Everyone get that? That's the problem with cost plus. Is that unlike a PPO, with a PPO, the PPO contract says this: hospital agrees to a 25% discount. As long as I pay that hospital with the 25% discount by March 31st under 1215, he's accepted that payment as full. There is no balance billing under a PPO contract. But because there is no what they call sign-off, because when I send the payment and a cost plus plan, we don't have an agreement with the hospital. I'm telling them this is what I think I should be paying you. They're not agreeing to it. They're not agreeing to it. They may cash the check and go away, but they could cash the check and balance bill. Ron just gave you the example, 1% get balance billed, right? So what if that happens, that 1% is a $500,000 claim? So I told you guys I have a spec at $100,000. I paid $90,000. They now balance bill the patient $410,000 on April 1st. Any additional payment, the stop loss carrier won't reimburse us, correct? So the key is, in a good cost plus plan, that your stop loss carriers that you work with agree to do what? What do they agree to do? What are the stop loss carriers going to agree to do? Anybody in this back row?
Reimburse for any additional payments that are made through,
Bingo. On fire, girl. They're agreeing to reimburse even if it goes past 1215 for a certain period of time. No one's going to agree to keep it open forever. But they might say, all right, you know what? If you have to make additional payments, we'll agree to reimburse outside of a 1215. Or you may have something else happen. Think about this. There's only two options. The stop loss carrier equals more money. They'll pay more money if this scenario happens, or they won't. Which stop loss policy is cheaper? Amanda?
which is cheaper if they don't reimburse?
Bing, bing, bing. If they say, listen, any additional payment outside of the 1215, it's on you, it's a much cheaper stop loss policy. So if you're a plan, you got to make a decision. Do I A, take a cheaper policy, knowing if one claim has to get paid over that 1215, I got to pay it, or B, do I pay a little extra and they can keep the claim open another 9 months, and now instead of a 1215, you really have a 1224. Another thing you have to look at is if the plan doc says I'm only going to pay cost plus 30, and that's it, and it doesn't have discretion. If you pay more than cost plus 30, the stop loss carrier is not going to reimburse you anyways. Why? If the plan doc says I only will pay cost plus 30%, and after negotiating I end up paying cost plus 50%, why won't the stop loss carrier reimburse? Regardless of even if you pay it within the 1215. Why won't they reimburse? Because the plan says cost plus 30, and you just paid them cost plus 50. So you paid outside the terms of the plan. That's why mirroring isn't always the greatest thing. And that's why the word discretion is so important. That you have the discretion to basically, if you need to pay a little bit more money, you can. You have a question?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is too...
Probably is, Chris.
Well, my question is, couldn't you conceivably set up a plan in such a way, because we talked about carve-outs and all this stuff, where the plan would have the ability to, in a situation like that,
Yeah.
pay through a PPO and get around all the things of claims and stuff because it was cheaper to do it that way?
Okay, yes.
Okay, I'll go talk about
All
that.
right, stop trying to show off. It's okay. No, it's good, but you're trying to show off. It's okay. I do the same thing. I'm kidding, man. It's not some fun. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can set up shells, and you can set up separate accounts and slush funds and all these things. I'm teaching this guys how to walk. So we on the same page in regards to how this works? So when you find a stop loss carrier, you want to look at A, are they going to keep what we call in the industry, do they agree to keep the claim open? So if I have a claim where I'm paying $100,000 and I know I can get balance billed another $400,000, does my stop loss carrier agree to keep that claim open in case there is a balance bill? Because otherwise, the plan might say, screw this. If you don't agree to pay the claim, keep the claim open, then I'm just going to pay what they want. And then you're going to have to reimburse me anyways. So that's why a good partnership with a stop loss carrier makes a lot of sense in these particular situations. So stop loss, in my mind, is probably the most important aspect of a cost plus program. Because if your stop loss carrier doesn't work with you, you can get ripped off bad. You could have a situation where you have a spec like we do of $50,000, claim comes in for $500,000, and now we have to pay $300,000 out of our pockets and there is no stop loss. Guess what happens to my self-funded plan? See ya, bankruptcy, done. I'm out of business. That's why stop loss is key to self-funding. And if you guys been having, I know you guys have been getting them, all those emails from SIA, stop loss in Colorado, stop loss in Utah, what they're trying to do is limit a self-funded plan's ability to purchase stop loss. If I'm a self-funded plan in Colorado and I can't buy stop loss, guess what? What's going to happen, Ashley? I'm not going to be self-funded anymore, and what am I going to do instead? Go fully insured, or what in 2014? What happens in 2014? What happens in 2014? Obamacare, what? Obamacare's already happening. Gives it an E. Exchanges start in 2014. So in Colorado, they're saying, hey, FIA Group is young, FIA Group's self-funded. If we don't allow them to have stop loss at $50,000 and make them have it at $200,000, we won't be self-funded because we won't be able to afford that risk, and we'll join the exchange. They want you in the exchange, Ty. They want you in the exchange because you guys aren't always in the hospital. You're cheap. They want you in the exchanges. They need cheap people in the exchanges instead of all the people who always go to the hospital or always are sick. Like this guy. Okay? Kidding. Come on, I have to. I always do it.
I know.
I do it every time. So that's why stop loss is key. Legal defense. That's us. Our job is legal defense and expert negotiation. Every single day, Kelsey sees that I do legal negotiation and expert defense on behalf of cases that we get from AMPS, which is an audit firm. What legal defense is? Legal defense is dealing with all this stuff. It's us specifically stating what should the plan do in these particular situations. What does your ID card look like? They'll contact us with a situation, Adam or Ron, patient got balance billed. So just based on that, Shauna, I'm going to stick to you first. If we say nothing else, all I get is a phone call. You get Ron is away on vacation, and I am somewhere where you can't even call me by cell phone. Okay, I'm back in the Galapagos Islands, right? That's the last place. I think I actually had internet there. I'm trying to think of a place I went that I didn't have any internet. All right, Hull. Okay? Swear to God. It's like I can get into anywhere but Hull. All right. So, phone call comes in. It's going to you. There's no one else here. Chris is not here either. Shauna, yeah, we have a balance bill situation. Help. What do you want?
The plan document,
Hold on. Yep.
any information they can provide regarding the pricing, how they do the audit, any methodologies for that,
That's all this.
how they use it, if the IET cards have the appropriate language, if the DOB have the appropriate language, who their stop loss carrier is, what the stop loss contract is.
Any correspondence?
Any correspondence.
Who your stop loss carrier is? What is the stop loss?
like.
Contract,
Yeah. somewhat.
plan doc, stop loss contracts, you want everything. So that you can do the spec, it's going to have that in the stop loss contract. But you want to be able to do a real defense and consult our client, you need all that information. By looking at the plan doc, you can see what does a plan language say about how they should pay the claim. Stop loss contract tells you does a stop loss carrier mirror the plan or not. What is it? Is it 1215? Is it 1224? It's in the stop loss contract. By getting all IDs, you can see, is there a PPO network logo on the card? Is there anything that they write on the EOBs that says PPO? Right? The audit firm, get all the information on how they decided how to price the claim. By looking at all this information, and this is what you guys print for us all the time, by looking at everything, we can tell the plan, A, you screwed up royally. B, your audit firm screwed up royally. And let's go to negotiate this thing, and we can explain to them what the whole scenario and the whole picture is, and that can be done by us in a matter of minutes. And this is the kind of work that we get. And by us doing all this stuff for our clients ahead of time, the only time me, Ron, or any of our legal team needs to get involved is when they actually need us to do some legal defense and expert negotiation. The problem is most of the time, 9 out of 10, they need us to fix all this stuff because we can't even defend it. There are many situations, I'm sure Kelsey, you've seen it, Cindy, you've seen it, where I get a plan document from AMPS, which is the audit firm, and the plan doc says how a claim should be paid, usual and customary. The claim should be paid based on what the PPO contract says. But the plan is trying to pay the claim at Medicare plus 30. How do I defend that? I can, but I don't expect anybody else can. But that's something that I like to do, to figure out a way to defend it, but it's not easy. And that's where all this other stuff comes into play. So now when you see the fact that so many TPAs and companies are coming to us, what they're asking us to do is set up an entire program, and the program incorporates all this. So not only are we doing legal defense and negotiating these claims, but we're actually helping them set up an entire program. Member education, TPA education, educating the claims examiners how to process claims, what the language should look like, what the ID card should look like, what the letters should look like. When you get an appeal, what to say in your appeal, what to say on the check. All that stuff is done by our team, which is be part of what you guys are going to be helping us with as well as we move ahead.